Aloha, y'all. It is Tuesday, Tears Day, the 21st. I'm looking for my thing, but I can't find it. I'm believing it's the 21st of March. Spacing out there, sorry. So the sun is at 1 degrees 50 minutes Aries. The moon is at 25 degrees 53 minutes Scorpio. Mercury is at 21 degrees Pisces, Venus is at 15 degrees Aquarius, Mars is at 12 degrees Aquarius, Jupiter is at 19 degrees Pisces, conjunct Mercury. Saturn is at 21 degrees Aquarius, Uranus is at 12 degrees Taurus, Neptune's at 23 degrees Pisces, conjunct Mercury also, and Jupiter. So it's a Jupiter, Mercury, Neptune trine in Pisces. A lot of fun, probably why I'm being kind of a airhead right now. Pluto's in Capricorn at 28 degrees, and the North Node is in Taurus at 23 degrees. Let's go ahead and talk about the chakra of the day. It is your sacral chakra, the Svadhisthana chakra. So this is in your lower abdomen, right? Basically near your genitals. Not exactly that. The base of your spine is the root, just a little more up is in the lower abdomen is this, and then like right at your belly would be this the next one. So kind of going upwards your spine. Keywords are happiness, confidence, and resourcefulness. Positive aspects are sociability, creativity, joyousness, and independence. Negative aspects are being destructive, being despondent, and being overly dependent. So we don't want to be doing that. The mantra is VAM, V-A-M, VAM, in the musical note of D, if you're going to be doing your chakra chanting, which I actually just did an hour of. I woke up at like 4:30 for some reason. I was like, oh, I'll just do my chakra chants now. And I did. And I feel great. The spiritual activities include meditation, celibacy, and fasting. Essential oils are jasmine, neroli, and orange blossom. The plant is jasmine. Metal is tin. The element is water. Crystals are tiger's eye, carnelian, and onyx. And the soul lesson is peace and wisdom. So if you can on this Tears Day, this Tuesday, get into the waters of your creativity, the fecundity of your power as a creative being. That's why I kind of do, I mean, it's not sexuality per se, but, you know, near that region is the physical creativity of life itself, essentially. And let's tap into our creativity ourselves. Hopefully y'all are doing well. I'm just putting out feelers. I'm telling y'all now, if anybody's interested, and I've got to kind of vet people and see if this resonates with my fiance and stuff, but if anybody is interested potentially in getting an Airbnb in a cool place, certain countries are starting to pop open, and if you're a creative and, you know, gainfully employed, have the money to do it kind of thing, it might make it a lot cheaper to see a cool place with me and maybe some other people, you know, like Honolulu or London or places like that. So let me know if that resonates with any of y'all. This would be in the summer, so like June, July, August, etc. I'm in Costa Rica till late May. I'll be actually probably returning here potentially for a festival to play over my birthday weekend, my brother's birthday weekend, but I haven't worked the contractual details of that out yet, so I'm not even sure if it's happening or not. Let's go ahead and get a card for the day. What wants to pop? What wants to pop? I'm trying to divide these up a little more. Well, shuffling them is obviously good, but it felt like humidity clumps. Best way to put it. What wants to pop on this Tears Day? We got the King of Wands, but of course, Aries season win. See what I mean when I say clumping up? I gotta figure that out. What's going on? All right, maybe they've been on the bottom the whole time or something, and they're getting all the moisture over time. So, King of Wands, if you're an Aries, and of course, we're greeted by the dogs. Pardon them, hopefully it doesn't distract you too much. So, King of Wands, though, is the highest masculine form of the fire energy. If you're an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, this is naturally your suit, so you can resonate even harder with it. And we're all feeling this pretty hard right now just because of the fact that it is officially... where is it? Cups, Wands, here we go. It is officially Aries season. I can't think clearly. God, Neptune, Mercury, Jupiter conjunct. Thinking like, it almost feels like a Mercury retrograde, but it ain't. So, we've got the King of Wands, the earthy part of fire. This is the grounded kind of boundaried, structured, routine, materially sound part of what? Fire. Passion, creativity, action, impulsiveness, right? That kind of tenacity of the fire, the energy of spirit. Fire is spirit, really, if you want to think about it that way, spiritedness. So, King of Wands, the earthy part of fire, inner strength, courage, and leadership, standing up for yourself and others, being direct in your purpose and applying self-discipline. Very appropriate for North Node and Taurus. We're kind of trying to get things honed in, tuned in just right, in order to find our inner strength, basically, and the courage and leadership comes right along with Aries, season, sun. And with the being directed in your purpose, very Scorpio moon. It's like you have a power right now, an intuitive power to tap into your fire, your spirit. So let's not fuck around with that. Let's tap into it if possible, right? King of Wands, I seek to change the world. Of all the kings, the King of Wands is the charismatic ruler of his people, an imposing, inspiring figure. He is the archetypal man of action with unbelievable reserves of energy, creativity, and vitality. He is masterful in not only initiating change, but applying the discipline needed to see it through to its fruitful end. The king symbolizes phenomenal inner strength, courage, and leadership, with the understanding that the volatility of fire is able to harness its force for the good of all. Right? You can warm yourself by the hearth, but you can also burn down the force, so you got to be careful. The King of Wands has always been a very powerful card for me. This is David DeAngelis, first person speaking. He's been on the podcast a few times. Shout out. The King of Wands has always been a very powerful card for me, symbolizing the power to disrupt in a truly creative and peaceful way. His body is made from aromatic resin-coated kindling, the heartwood found in the stumps of ancient longleaf pines, which blaze hot and bright. If well organized, it builds the foundation of something that burns long and well. So we have this fire, Aries sun, and we have a lot of power and understanding, deep understanding, moon in Scorpio. But are we engineering a world that we're gonna that's gonna have value? Saturn in Aquarius, North Node in Taurus. Are we able to create a hearth that holds the fire? The king in ancient times was perceived as a god, the crown often spiked like the rays of the sun god. This king wears a crown of thorns, an emblem of conscious humility for his authority, is rooted in the manifest world, North Node and Taurus. His wand creates new forms of life, symbolizing just how powerful the human imagination is, and that is the sacral chakra, right? Creating new forms of life, creativity, sacral chakra day. So we're tapping into this Aries energy full on right now. Accept it. But you don't have to feel like, I don't know, Wolverine on cocaine and Red Bull or whatever. You can, that's very kind of Aries energy. You want to kind of hone it in. And with the North Node and Taurus, we're being called to bring value and stability to these powers and energies. That's the karma that we're all moving towards. His wand creates new forms of life, symbolizing just how powerful the human imagination is. We create our own reality. The creative process begins with generation, so don't be too quick to discard your ideas. Let things grow before you decide what must be pruned back. With the moon in Scorpio, we have this ability to really kind of lift up the rocks and let kind of weird imaginations and maybe the dark side of the moon kind of be seen a little more effectively. And with the Aries sun, with the King of Wands as the card, with this Tears Day, this martial kind of energy day, Tuesday, with the Svadhisthana chakra, with the sacral chakra, let's create powerfully from a place of awareness. That's really what we're trying to do. Working with David Bowie, I was constantly reminded that every aspect of a design or artistic creation contains the potential to be a game changer, right? All designs, Saturn, and structures can be revolutionary potential in Aquarius. I experienced him as phenomenally disciplined, relentless in keeping the integrity of the vision, able to zoom in on a detail that would be seen as insignificant and coax something significant from it. Mars and Venus conjunct in Aquarius. You can really kind of hack and engineer awesome things in real time with the people around you, with the objects around you, with your ideas. At the same time, I was struck by how affirmative and generous he was to others, encouraging them to shine despite being phenomenally busy and constantly in demand. Like very much like a king, right? Likewise, the King of Wands is a mentor to those around him, especially his children, coaching them to reach their full potential, and that is of supreme importance, whatever his work schedule and obligations are. So even though the North Node and Taurus is saying, make sure you have, money in the bank, and make sure your body's in shape, and make sure you're eating healthily. It's also about bringing spirit to that, Aries sun, and a depth of awareness, moon and Scorpio, right? You can't, it's not just about like, the shadow of Saturn in Aquarius is that you get into a list and a regimentation of performance, and you just do it out of habit, and you don't even like what you do, right? So we need to make sure we, listen to music when you're running. Try new spices in every dish, that kind of thing. Experiment, push forward, right? Be in the now, very Aries sun. His world is exciting and action-packed, and he will encourage his children to use their initiative, take risks, and to go out and explore the world. This, for me, is the essence of leadership. To be totally committed and direct in your purpose, very Scorpio moon, North Node in Taurus, and at the same time giving others the opportunity to be fully birthed as the person they carry the potential to be, Mars and Venus in Aquarius conjunct, right? And because Jupiter and Mercury and Neptune are conjunct in Pisces right now, we have the ability to dream big, right? This is about creating such an awesome kingdom that, like, it's like Walt Disney almost, where it's like, hey, I have a spirit, I'm an individual, Aries sun, and I got this dream, Jupiter and Pisces, conjunct Mercury and Neptune, and I'm going to make it work. I'm going to engineer this reality, Saturn in Aquarius, North Node in Taurus, and I'm going to do it with the help of others. He didn't really animate much. He didn't create rides. He just okayed it at some point, right? Walt Disney we're talking about. So he was a king of what? Passion and ideas. I'm not saying he was like, Jim Morrison of the creative world or whatever, but because this is a very kind of like all fire energy. Jim Morrison was a Sagittarius. This is a very, that energy, maybe more Knight of Wands, but the point is, we have the fire in our belly. Come on, baby, light my fire, right? We can go out there and do it. And you don't have to doubt your creative power. You don't have to doubt your creative potential. You just have to bring that power. Scorpio moon is like, think long and hard about what you want to bring. Be deep and true with yourself. Be honest and integrous with yourself, North Node and Taurus. But also, show up. Be present. Be passionate. Be zealous. Make it so, as they say in Star Trek. So let's get a clarifier card. These are much less sticky cards, which is interesting. I don't know why that would be. We got the Magician. But of course, that's some Aquarius energy right there. But right away I thought of the Scorpio moon. It's like we can get some transformative magic going on here, right? We are in power of amazing fire. The spirit is in us, right? We are the living embodiment of the kingdom of God is within, kind of thing, right? But we have to hone that fire, create a hearth, spread the torches to other people so they can go out into the night and see what they want. In Legend of Korra, which is the sequel series to Avatar The Last Airbender, there's a scene where they show the first Avatar and the history, and how fire was the first element that was kind of understood, and he shared that gift. He didn't just keep it to himself. He showed people how to defend themselves and overturn tyranny and stuff. So maybe this is a revolutionary king who's like, you know what? I lead the Spartans, and I'm going to show you guys how to be like super badass, and we're going to inspire you guys towards revolution too, right? That's the magic we all possess. The magic to what? Transform the elements, transform ourselves. It's always changing, it's always transforming, but we have the power to manipulate that, and that's something that sometimes we disempower ourselves and forget that little tidbit. But don't do that. Let's read a little bit of the clarifier. This is actually the Magician's card. See, he's got the elements kind of balanced. In this deck, it's called the Starman, the Alchemist. So, the clarifier to the King of Wands card is the Starman, manifesting your reality. Ideas are communicated and brought into the physical world with ease. You have everything you need to create the world you desire, reconfiguring yourself in liberating and expressive ways. I will blow your mind, right? And maybe that's the confidence, the Aries sun, the confidence of a fire King of Wands, where it's like, you know what? I've got a 3-ring circus, and I'm the ringleader, and I've got a lion by the jaws, and check this shit out. There's the bearded woman over there, Saturn in Aquarius, and we're all doing this shit together. There's a car full of clowns and weird shit, and I'm showing you how it's done under this the big tent, or whatever, the big top. So we have the power to transform. We are just like the phases of the moon, right? We transform. We're never sitting still. And just like solar flares, right? King of Wands. Like sometimes we have bursts of energy, sometimes it's kind of dormant. It's really all just electromagnetic cycles, ultimately sine waves through time and through the Tao or whatever. But let's tap into this power. Let's tap into this creativity, this Svadhisthana chakra, these waters of creativity. almost like you're looking into your crystal ball, right? Or into your pensieve and saying, what worlds do I want to create? What adventures do I want to go on? What does my spirit get excited about? And how can I influence that process? Because just to be to be overly active, here's the shadow of Aries, right? It's kind of the combination of Aries sun and Scorpio moon. On the one hand, you don't want to be so passive and withdrawn that you're hiding and watching things go by. Scorpio moon shadowing. North node in Taurus shadow is laziness a little, right? Because the south node is in the Scorpio, so that means the moon's conjunct the south node right now. So we're probably emotionally processing a whole lot of old stuff. And we're letting go of the life that we once lived, and we need to go into a new life, right? And that Aries sun is giving us that power, but we don't want to be so headstrong and action-oriented that we're not keeping that fire on a hearth. You don't just want the Chicago fire, right? Or any major fire. I can't think of any others. The San Francisco fire. I think that was probably an earthquake, though. We got the fire in our belly. He's even holding this fire. There's a meme I posted the other day where it's like, looks like a kid doing this shit with a science lab, and the teacher's like, what the fuck? And it's like, the teachers representing the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and Jesus is the kid, and it says, channeling God's spirit or whatever it said. So we have this power to channel deeply moon conjunct south node, potentially. I hadn't really looked at where the south node is. Actually, it would be because it's later degrees. So moon conjunct south node, let's get out of our past and into our future responsibly with others in an articulated, valuable way. North node in Taurus, Aries sun, but with Mars and Venus conjunct in Aquarius. Kick ass and take names and do it with a team. This is like Xavier saying, you know what? I'm going to make a school, right? I'm going to lead a school of X-Men, of mutants. Very Aquarius, Mars, and Venus conjunct. And he's like, he has to know himself well enough to be able to provide that space for others, right? So know thyself, know your fire. Hit me up for readings if you want to know thyself a little better. And you are the magician at the hub of the wheel. You are the witness, and you get to see all the phases of the moon. You get to know night and day. You know good and evil, right? That's the whole falling into consciousness Adam and Eve story. We've fallen into consciousness. We know death and life. We know male and female. We know night and day. And we can play with these elements and all these polarities. So let's go ahead and get an animal oracle card. We've got the flying fox / the fruit bat. I have seen these en masse before in Australia, so they're pretty gnarly little things. Number 12. This is about kindness. So yes, it's awesome to have a vision, right? Aries sun, and make it so, like get out there and do it, and have this deep kind of power, this reserve of magic, the magician card, but with the moon in Scorpio, North node in Taurus. Let's make it happen. But as Paul would say in the Bible, you can be speaking to angels. You could have the the schematics for the whole reality. You can do magic, right? Magician card is the clarifier, but without love, without kindness, it's meaningless. So we got to bring love to the dream too. These dogs, like clockwork, they guard the neighbors. They think they're doing some mission. Very Aries energy. It's like, I'll fight you. It's like they're actually, if they came over here, they would probably lick them and stuff. So kindness. Choose kindness, which isn't always the easy way. With the moon conjunct the south node, right, we're probably feeling our scars and remembering our traumas and remembering who's wronged us and who owes us money and all that kind of shit. Choose kindness, which isn't always the easy way. Kindness will always be repaid. Consider others in your decisions, especially those with less power than you, right? The King of Wands, one of the reasons he's such a good king is because he's considering, not only does he know his individual power, the magician card as the clarifier, but he's considering others, right? Saturn in Aquarius. He's ruling and governing, Saturn like rules, with others in mind in a hearted way. Repay your debts. Spread the seeds of goodwill and your fortunes will grow. Mythos. Princess Laotugi was royalty for the Samoan Islands. She went to Tonga to become the second wife of the king of Samoa at that time. This was not a love match, as she was sent as part of a peace treaty through marriage between the kingdoms. That's so Saturn and Aquarius. It's like, you know what? We want peace. We want work groups. Your group. Let's make our things work. Get married. There's no love involved. It's very an action, right? It's not a romance. So, although sealing alliances through marriage was a common practice, often those wives that were part of this kind of union were treated badly and looked down upon by the community. South Node and Scorpio. They're like, oh my God, I'm a victim. I'm part of, I'm the power behind the power, but not really respected. One day, as she walked through the gardens, North Node and Taurus, Laotiki discovered a baby bat that was sick and wounded. She was a kind and gentle woman, and in her mercy looked after the little bat until it was well again. She then released it back into the colony, of bats, very Mars and Venus in Aquarius. She's kind of doing it, the bat a solid, and then releasing it back into its home crew. This act didn't remain a secret. Moon and Scorpio, she maybe was like, I'm going to do this in the dark of the night. I'm gonna work my magic and nurse this little guy back to health. Magician card is the clarifier. I'll bring my loving spirit to this little guy. But soon it was found out. The court laughed at her kindness and thought her weak and stupid, which made her an easy target when the king's fortunes declined. The royal court suggested that it was Laotigi who caused the king's problems, and they decided to kill her by burning her on a pyre. King of Wands, fire, Aries sun, fire. You as an individual are at fault, and we're going to kill you, Aries sun, Scorpio moon, conjunct the south node. The flames were lit, and the flames rose to engulf Laotigi when suddenly the sky darkened. That is some Aries sun, Scorpio moon imagery right there. The baby bat and his family had not forgotten the kindness of the princess and had come to help her. Mars and Venus in Aquarius conjunct. Thousands upon thousands of bats flew above the fire, urinating down on the flames to extinguish them. That is some Mercury, Neptune, Jupiter conjunct shit right there. Laotigi was saved, but her trials were not yet over. Frustrated, the Tongan king exiled her to a very small island with nothing to eat. The island was completely barren, so the king and his court were sure that Laotigi would soon starve to death. Again, the fruit bats assisted her, right? This shows you that the kindness pays it forward. Like, you never know what your actions will harvest. You reap what you sow. Sometimes the seeds that you sow, you don't even realize they could save your life later, right? They brought her food, including fruits and seeds, and they kept her happy with their smiling company. Soon the island became one of fertility and plenty, North Node and Taurus. As many of the bats made it their new home, the kind princess was very happy, and she became a goddess of plenty and fertility and the patroness, protector of all bats. The animal, the Samoan flying fox, is a protected animal in Tonga and Samoa because of this beautiful mythos. So the story has actually created a reality shift, right? Talk about magician card clarifier. Someone told a story and somebody believed it, right? Or whatever, as the Rainbow Connection song talks about. And now the animal is actually protected in their nationality. A mammal. It is the largest flying fox in the Pacific with a wingspan of up to 1 meter, which is about 3 feet, 3.5 feet. Unusually, this species does not form large colonies, but exists as monogamous pairs with children. Fruit bats, which are also known as flying foxes, play a key role in pollination and seed dispersal throughout their habitat. Rather than using sonar, they have keen eyesight and hearing, and they are very intelligent. They suckle their young and are caring parents. The magic, which is why we're all here. The fruit bats are a vital part of the ecosystem, ensuring seeds are spread and fertility of the land is secured. North Node in Taurus. The energy here is one of fertility and plentifulness. Invite flying fox energy into your workings when you wish to invoke more kindness or fertility. So it's one thing to have power. It's one thing to have magic, right? The power of the fire, of the spirit, Aries sun, and the magic of the Scorpio moon, right? There's a guy going by. Wow, my eye just dried out. There's a guy going by, so it might be a little loud really quick. But without kindness in the mix, it's all for nothing. It's a bunch of noise, just like what we're hearing now. So let's be creative, right? Sacral chakra, let's be creative in how we create kindness. It doesn't always have to look the same thing. You don't have to, feed the poor. I mean, that's a great way to do it, but maybe saying a kind word or sharing a link that you think is inspirational to somebody when they pop onto your mind. With the moon and Scorpio conjunct the south node, sometimes the shadow of this is like, I'm going to keep things to myself. If it's all about boundaries, and really kindness knows no bounds, right? She just was nice to a little flying fox, and when a king was acting like a savage, they brought her life and sustenance and magic. Her magic created magic, right? Love begets love. You get what you give. One way or another, it all comes around. So let's go ahead and get an I Ching. Oh, did I say it all? Oh no. Symbology of the fruit. God, I can't think. Symbology of the card is fruit bat, seeds, and baby bat, and the status is of the least concern but declining due to habitat loss. So there's less and less of them because cities are popping up and kind of taking over the world or whatever. All right, so let's get an I Ching hexagram. I Ching's the Book of Changes. We've got 21. This looks like a bunch of bats flight patterns or something like that, right? So we got number 21. Let's see what this has to say to us. And I don't know if y'all are into the I Ching, but I just wrote a song called 64 Ways, which is about this. And there are 64 codons in your DNA, I believe, or something to that effect. I'm not a biologist, I forget, but the number of hexagrams corresponds to our DNA, which is crazy. It's like as within, so without, all the way. Magician card, totally. Struggling. Laotiki was struggling, and she would have really struggled without her kindness begetting the bat's love. She would have burned at the pyre, King of Wands, at this Aries kind of, Sun, South Node conjunct Moon in Scorpio, this kind of tyrannical government situation where, everyone just jeered at nice people and basically killed them. Your magic is what will save you, and your magic comes from your heart, but it's really about being creative with your heart. Creation is a act of magic. So struggling, you are severely hindered by an outside obstacle or as a result of a destructive person, right? So Laotiki's husband, who she didn't even love, destructive force. Don't believe that problems will merely disappear of their own accord, which can be the naivete of Mercury conjunct Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces, where it's like, oh, everything flows on. It does. The hexagrams spin out forever and ever, but we have so much more influence on things than we realize, and we need to take that power and shine it. Shine from the heart and be creative in kind ways, right? The best leaders, it doesn't mean you're so soft that, you do nothing. Passivity can be an issue with Pisces. So with Jupiter in Pisces, Neptune there, Mercury there, conjunct, it's like, oh, you know what? I have this bug bite, but I'm just going to not deal with it. I'm not going to scratch it. It'll go away. Or you could push your fingernail on all four sides. Like when I get a bug bite, let's say my mole here is the bug bite. Can you even see the mole? Oh, there's the other arm. Or whatever, this cut. I guess I got a cut and I didn't even know it. So you poke on each side of it. And it causes the nerves to kind of be all distracted. And I've always found that helps my bug bites, spider bites. So it says, don't believe that problems will merely disappear of their own accord. Instead, try to find out who or what is causing the disruption. Do some sleuth work, Moon and Scorpio, right? As an Aries, like stand up for yourself. As soon as it's found out, you have to alleviate it uncompromisingly and resolutely before lasting damage occurs. Give justice a helping hand on the road to success and don't be unwilling to point out someone's limitations, right? One of the powers of being a magician is to help other magicians, right? Gandalf at one point is like, oh my god, I got magician crews, I got other wizards that I know. And Saruman, had turned to Sauron, so he couldn't even get his help. And he kind of threw him up in the tower and hurt him. He didn't show him too much kindness. And that's when the butterfly, or actually, yeah, it's a moth maybe, or butterfly or whatever, he whispers into its ear and it goes and gets the eagles and he gets saved. Same thing, kind of flying animals saving the day, right? Birds, flying bats, whatever. Your magician power can be tapped into, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to come into struggle or conflict and you have to use your head above that. Aries rules the head. Use your head. And wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove kind of energy. Scorpio Moon. It's like, be discerning and take actions when necessary. Give justice a helping hand on the road to success and don't be unwilling to point out someone's limitations. Misunderstandings and confusion pose a threat in the present situation. Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, conjunct, kind of confusing waters. Clear guidelines must therefore be drawn and reasonable arrangements made. Saturn and Aquarius, let's make this work for everybody. Only then can the way be fundamentally cleared of difficulties. Put yourself under the microscope. Some Scorpio Moon stuffs. Inhibitions and fears are obstacles which you yourself must overcome in order to make progress, right? So whatever your fears are, when you bring your heart, when you bring your passion and bring your fire, that's when the magic comes. And it doesn't mean that you could go dark and be a Sith Lord all of a sudden, or like Saruman, you can get influenced by things that aren't totally kind. Or you can be of the light, of the Order of Auron, I'm the wielder of the flame of whatever, as Gandalf and Galadriel and all the others are. But there is a struggle, right? And the struggle is eternal. It's actually a creative dynamic struggle. It's a yin-yang kind of situation where it's like, oh, it's creating all sorts of infinite possibilities, kind of doing the dynamos of Tantra in that toroidal kind of way. So it's not that your enemy is to be destroyed, it's that your enemy is to be understood and overcome. Does that make sense? And we are the enemy. So bring awareness, bring your light, bring the power of awareness to alchemize, Magician card clarifier. In kindness, all the struggles that you might find yourself facing in creative ways. Svadhisthana. Let's go ahead and get a stone card. You can quantumly entangle with this. You don't actually have to own it, though if you do own it, plus 10 points. Ooh, look at this beauty. I love this. Malachite. This is some swirling Scorpio moon, Jupiter, Neptune, Mercury conjunct in Pisces energy right here. And it looks so valuable. North Node in Taurus. What it is, malachite. With its trademark acid trip swirls, money green malachite is an electrifying mesmerizer with a high copper content, always good for moving energy and making things happen, right? Moving energy. King of Wands. He has all this fire. Where do you move it? Like the magician. You're a conduit of this change. You make things happen. Aries sun. Who needs it? The overflowing in creativity, right? When maybe this is too open and not balanced, right? Because it could be totally closed. You're like, I have writer's block, creativity, or sacral chakra shut. Or you have so many ideas you don't even know where to begin. And you just like kind of, just smoke a joint and have all these great ideas and then sit around watching cartoons, eating cereal. Not necessarily the best use of your time, right? The overflowing in creativity but lacking in follow through. That is Jupiter, Mercury, and Neptune conjunct in Pisces, right? Where it's like, I got all these ideas, but I didn't write anything down. The all business all the time set, right? So if the Saturn in Aquarius, Mars, Venus in Aquarius, if it's because Aquarius is co-ruled, it's Uranus and Saturn originally before we saw Uranus in the skies. So it can be very serious energy sometimes. Where to put it? If you're trading cryptocurrency, writing television pilots, or starting up the next tech giant, try some malachite in your workspace. When to use it? When the concrete jungle has you disconnected from the earth beneath it. When you've just got to have the money, the power, and all the glory, come at it, right? That's very King of Wands. When you're just like, okay, it's time to be the magician of the world. I want to own it all. When you've just got to have all the glory and all the power and money, like Saruman, come at it with a heart forward, i.e. kindness card. Heart forward, sustainable energy, courtesy of malachite. This is claim your success. And I think that's really what we're going to have to do. We are success. Do you know how many generations it took to even create you? This dream that you're dreaming, it took a lot of effort on a lot of people's parts in some weird, North Node kind of real way, right? So you are a temple of the living God, in a sense. You are a Tesla coil walking up on bicameral and bipedal and running around as a magician. You're a wonder of creation. Act like you know that. Act like you fucking know that, right? And come from your heart. Treat other people. Namaste. Oh my gosh, there's divine in me and there's divine in you, right? Just because we find ourselves in struggles and conflicts doesn't mean that we have to be victims, doesn't mean we have to be overly allowing. There's a difference between allowance and like kind of good, proper spiritual way, right? And versus like martyrdom. And the issue with boundaries right now might be real because with the moon in Scorpio and Aries sun, we're like, I want to stand up for myself, right? I want to claim my success, malachite. I want to be all I can be. I want to be as magical and powerful as I can be, but I don't know what to do with my energy. I said abracadabra, da la 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 la, and kind of rambled, right? Jupiter, Mercury, Neptune conjunct. So we have to take all this power and this focus and invigorate it with the dream, with the heart, with the creativity, with the passion, and keep that fire on a hearth. You want the fire burning bright, but you don't want it out of control. That's kind of what the energy is saying. So tend your fires, tend your creative pursuits, tend your relationships, tend your sexuality, tend all the things that inspire you, tend your spirit. How do you do that? As a magician or a creatrix, if you want the feminized kind of version, as the wizard of your Oz, of your reality, you have to bring loving kindness, right? She was nice to bats and they saved her life later. Gandalf whispers nice things to the butterfly or moth or whatever, and it flies off and gets the eagles and it saves him from his struggle with Saruman. He had to claim his power, malachite, in a very kind of creative and, dare I say, inventive, manifesting kind of way. So I hope you guys are as creative as you can be today, right? Svadhisthana chakra. Hey, go write a haiku. I think haikus are the fucking easiest. I don't write them all the time. I'm kind of saying something I don't always do. But if you want just like to get your feet wet in creativity, haiku, 575 lines. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Don't quote me on that. Look it up. Google haiku. I'm pretty sure it's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So it's like the way forward. The way forward is not all that glitters is gold, but we shall overcome. overcome. We shall overcome. Okay, you see my point. But you can just whip out haikus about anything and really tap into your creative potential. Probably inspiring you, seeing how magical language is, make them things that inspire you and don't depress you. Because we're all in a struggle of light versus dark, of male versus female, of past self, South Node, Scorpio versus future desires of success in the world, Malachite, right, North Node and Taurus. It's all good one day, right? It's all good, just like the symbol, it's all good. But sometimes you find yourself in writer's blocks, or sometimes you find yourself like really pumping out the jams. Sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're a loser, sometimes you're Jesus, sometimes you're Judas, or the devil, or whatever. It's all good. We're all playing parts in the dream. Know your role, play your part. King of Wands. Don't just sit back. Aries season, right? Know the power of your emotional catharsis and the transformation of the Magician card clarifier. Know that you can really change your life by what you say to yourself. Your internal monologue matters so much more than you might realize. I've been listening to that a lot with the Christopher Wojtecki's app. I listen to that every day with my fiance, and he calls it his me-go. So how do you talk to yourself? Like if you screw up, or you're like, oh, you idiot. Like there's place for that. Saturn and Aquarius, like it's good to like know the rules and know how to bend them and like when you cross them and all this stuff. But you don't want to be a tyrant to yourself. You want to love yourself and come at yourself in all things with kindness ultimately, because you never know the magic that love can bring. Now, love is what overcomes everything in the struggle, the big struggle, right? But ultimately, claim your success with Malachite. Claim your power as the King of Wands. Aries season, be all you can be. Scorpio moon, be as magical and powerful as you know you are. Come from your creative, kind places in order to really enjoy the struggle. That's a weird way to put it, but like we're in a dance. Sometimes people step on each other's toes. Sometimes it's like musical chairs and we're all competing for a spot. It's a weird game we're in this dream. But we are here out of many people's creative. We are the manifestation of the dreams of the past. Let's put it that way, right? So, what you dream now will beget a new future. Know that you have that power. We all have that power, and that's why we have to be kind to each other, right? Even I'm trying to think of, like in Star Wars, there's like this one dude in the later Star Wars movies. I forget, the Rise of the Force Awakens or something like that. There's this crazy evil dude, and Kylo Ren and this other general are kind of vying for power, right? Very much like Aries Sun, Scorpio Moon. It's like I want to be in power. The struggle was between two guys on the same side, and he ends up betraying. Well, I'm kind of giving spoilers. He ends up betraying. They betray each other at some level, and he's like, I don't give a shit. Just bring him down. He's my enemy. That's a weird kind of negative polarization of this, but it's like, hey. Find the power within to claim the magic without. Do it in kindness, hopefully. Like these dogs aren't necessarily kind to strangers, although they really ultimately are. They think everything's a struggle, so they want to fight everything, bark at everything. But we're here to claim our success, Malachite. And to claim your success really means tapping into your magic and owning your fire, owning your spirit, owning your creative potential. Svadhisthana chakra. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Leave a tip if you have. I love helping people out. Energy exchange is awesome. Get readings if you haven't ever. It's 5 stars. What you waiting for? $33 for an hour of cards. $55 or $88 rather. I'm sorry. $33 for an hour of cards. $88 for 3 hours of astrology. $111 for both. So a whole afternoon with me getting the magic, getting that magician card in. And as a Sun and Moon Gemini, 11th house, I'm coming hot with that shit. So, check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We've got Kaipacha Lesher on Thursday. I'm forgetting. What's her name? Rebecca Magic, I think is her name, what she goes by. But she's a tarot reader. She's into Kabbalah, and she's out in Sedona. She's coming on Wednesday. She's really cool. I'm thinking her name is Rebecca. But we got great people coming on the podcast all the time. We're tapping into the magicians. We're shining light on each other and being our awesome self, showing kindness through awareness, right? In this crazy struggle, we're claiming our success as a Team Rabbit Hole endeavor and saying we're all in this together. It's a royal we situation team, and let's go down the rabbit hole creatively, hopefully. So check out the podcast. Holler for readings. Leave a tip. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. Tag someone in this who might enjoy it. And I will catch y'all on the flip side. Enjoy your Tears Day, your Tuesday. Adios.